Hey Finxters! In this video, we are going to discuss how to iterate through two lists in parallel. So let us discuss the problem that we are going to solve in this video. Consider we have two lists, the first being founder and the second being org or organization. The first list consists of few names and the second list also consists of few names. So if you have a look, you'll find that these are some well-known personalities and these are the organizations, or org stores the organizations which they founded. Now we want to iterate over each list such that we can print the name of the founder as well as the organization simultaneously. Now, the name of the founder is present in the founder list, whereas the name of the organization is present in the org list. So, it is clear that we have to iterate over both lists at the same time, or we have to iterate over both lists parallelly so that we can print the output as we want. So without further delay, let us have a look at the different methods that we are going to discuss in order to solve our problem. So these are the three methods that you can see on the screen which we are going to use. Now let us quickly move in to our programming screen. So initially, or the first method that we are going to use is the zip method. So as the name suggests, the zip method is an inbuilt function in Python that returns a zip object which represents an iterator of tuples. It allows us to pair together with the first item in each iterator and then pair the second item in each iterator and so on. Now this might be confusing. So what do I mean by this? So instead of saying it, or instead of going on giving you theory, let me give you an example so that you understand what is the functionality of the zip function. So consider we have two list variables li_1 which stores three values, maybe a, b and c, and then we have another list variable which also stores three values or maybe two values. I'll tell you why I'm storing two values in the second list. Now we are going to use the zip function. So we are going to iterate over each list using the zip function. So for f, o in zip and the name of the two lists that we have. Now we print f and o. So as I mentioned earlier, zip will help you to pair a, which is the first element in list li_1, with the first element 1, which is the first element of the list li_2. Now let's execute this code. So as you can see, we have the first element which is a along with the first element of the second list which is 1. Similarly, we have the second element of the second list b and the second element of the first list and the second element of the second list which is 2. Now you might be wondering what happened to c, which is the third element of the first list. So this clearly depicts that zip stops iterating once the shorter list among the given iterables, which in our case are lists, is exhausted. So the shorter list in our case is li_2. So as soon as zip reaches the second element of the second list, which is 2, it stops the iteration. Now in order to iterate until the longest iterator present in our program, which in this case is the list li_1, which has three elements, we need to use a different function or a modified version of the zip function, which is known as zip_longest function. Now the zip longest function is a part of the itertools module. So in order to be able to use this function, you have to import the itertools module. So let us quickly import our itertools module. And now let's use the itertools module to iterate through both lists such that we reach the last element of the longest list, which is li_1. Now let us use itertools and the zip_longest function. So itertools dot zip_longest, and that's it. So this should be good enough. Now let's check the output. And as you can see, we also have C, which is the last element of the list li_1. Since li_2 does not have any element in the third position, so it is denoted by none in our output. Now I hope zip function was clear to you. Now let us quickly use the zip function to solve our problem. So let's clear out the screen. Okay, we are good to go. Now we have our lists, founder and org. Now we want to print or iterate over both lists parallelly. So let me provide a better structure so that you can understand it better. So in order to do that, I'll use a print statement within which I'll provide the following structure so that it looks more readable. Now we have our for loop for f, comma, o in zip. Now we are using our zip function to iterate over both the lists, founder and org. Since both the lists have equal number of elements in this case, so I am simply using zip, and I do not need to import the itertools module or use the zip_longest function. And now I simply print the output. So f, comma, then we have a space so that it looks more readable, and then o. Now let's check if we have the desired output, and as you can see, we have the exact output that we wanted. So I hope this method was clear to you. Now that brings us to the next method that we are going to use. It's quite simple now. We are going to use a for loop. We will not be using any other function like zip. Instead, we are going to use a for loop along with a range. Now this is a simple logic. All you need to do is understand the logic. So we have our for loop. We are using the same example or the same lists. Now we define our for loop for I in. Now we define a range. So I will iterate over this range. So what do we define within the range? It will be within the length of one of our lists. Since both the lists have similar lengths, so I can use any one of them. So I'm using founder in order to get my solution. So now I will iterate from 0 to a length of 3, or you might say that it will iterate from 0, 1 and 2. I hope it was clear. If in case it is not, let me just show you what this results into. Len of founder. So as you can see, len of founder is 3. Now let me remove this because we don't need it. I just use it to explain you. And now we need to organize our output. So founder add the ith index along with the founder or the organization, I should say, org, add the ith index. Easy, wasn't it? So I hope you get the idea. We are using the index to print or iterate over both the lists simultaneously and then print the result accordingly. Let's check if this gives us the output that we want. let's execute our program. And as you can see, we have the exact or the desired output. Now that brings us to our last method of the day, which is known as enumerate. Now enumerate is a built-in function in Python that takes or accepts a collection like a tuple or a list and returns it as an enumerate object. It adds a counter as the key of the enumerate object. Confusing, isn't it? It won't be when I help you with an example. So as of now, let me comment this out. Now let us take an example. Suppose we have two variables, x and y. So x is a tuple which consists or contains the name of three fruits, apple, banana and cherry. And then we have another variable y which stores the output of the enumerate function applied on the variable x. We will now print the output of y, or maybe we will typecast y and then print it. Let's check what's the output. Now as you can see, we have a list of tuples such that in each tuple you will have a counter along with the item within the tuple x. I hope you can see that on the screen. 0 is the counter and apple is the first item of our tuple x. So I hope you understand the working principle of the enumerate function. Now it is very important to note that it adds a counter as a key to the tuple. This is what we are going to make use of and solve our problem. So let's remove this out and try to solve our problem again using the enumerate function this time. I'll use a for loop and then n, which is used to store the counter, and f, which is used to denote a list or one of the lists, and then in, and now I am using the enumerate function, and within it I'll use the list founder. So you might be thinking, what about the other list? How do I print it? Now that's what we are going to see. I'll print f, which will help me to print the elements of founder, but I also want to print the elements of the list org simultaneously with the elements of the list founder. So what do? I simply access each element of the list org using the counter n, which is given by the enumerate function. So I hope you get the idea. This is similar to what we did previously, but in this case we are using the enumerate function, which automatically adds a counter to the collection like a list in our case, and then we can use it accordingly to print our result. So let me clear out the output screen, and now let's check if we have the desired output. And as you can see, we have the desired output. So these were the three methods that I wanted to discuss with you today. I hope it was clear to you and you enjoyed the video. If you learned something out of it, please give it a like, and if you want to be notified about such videos whenever we upload them on our channel, please subscribe our channel in that case, and also hit the bell icon so that you get notified each time we upload a new video. That was enough for the day. Goodbye.